Everything in this video is never financial investment or trading advice of any kind. Everything is just for entertainment, educational, and comedic purposes only. I eat red crayons for breakfast in the morning. Trading in the markets carries substantial risks. Never trade more than you can afford to lose, and especially be aware against high leverage trading. Past performance is never indicative of future performance. Let's look at this one called IO.net. Let's do a little bit of core cluster on this area here. I just want to make sure I'm getting the right area. Core cluster on our website, patreon.com. Type in the word lessons, click on show more, and it's going to pull up all of our lessons. Although right now we are coming up to lesson number 14. The others are on our website, just on our main page. Just scroll down, you'll see the ones from the last 2 Wednesdays. Okay, if you are interested, you can click on this one. All of you guys are Dive Tier members, $18 for the whole month. You guys can even save the videos. But lesson number 6, core cluster, which is flats analysis 2A, it's in the flats family, helps us identify this area here where the meat of the candle is. And what we're going to do is we're going to change various timelines to find if we should really be looking at 5.65 as our main number. Let's make it just a little bit bigger, 5.65. If I go to a 2-day chart, I can see that I'm still dealing with 5.60. We did a crypto just this past Saturday where that was very much not the case. If I go to a weekly chart, I see that the core is just a little bit lower. Now, why is this important? If I go to a 2-week chart, the core is in the same area. So if I were to get a range, if I were to see where should I be drawing the line, should I be drawing it here or should I be drawing it here where the other two? I got 2 that are pointing to this area right there and 2 that are pointing to this area here. So which one should I use? Well, we teach about that. And in many cases, we can take that area as a block. In this case, if we were to block out this area, we'd be looking to draw our line from this rectangle here. Now, sometimes that's really important. Sometimes it's not. Okay, the structure has to still be intact. In this case, there was a top and it was a bottom. These others are all less incidental. So if I go back now to the daily chart for this crypto IO.net, I know to draw my trend line from this block. Not up here, but from this block, okay? And whatever angle I decide to draw it from, it needs to be somewhere in that block, if anything, halfway in the block. And then I'm gonna get a stronger result. So let's just say we place it right in the middle of the block. Now I'll use a red line. You can do that, but you just be a little bit general sometimes, okay? That's basically how to perform core cluster, okay? Simple principle, but there's a few nuances about it. So let's delete these. I'm gonna leave on my block. Now, I don't always do core cluster, but sometimes I want to highlight one principle or another. Now I see that we can draw a straight line from here to here. What is the problem if I do that? The good news if I do that is that I got a little bit of the core here and I got a little bit of the wick here. But what's the problem with this? If I continue that straight out, the problem is these candles are sticking out beyond it, okay? These candles over here, I'm cutting through them and I'm going up and down. So I didn't account for this core or even the wick side or whatever range if I did core cluster. I didn't account for that. So I need to adjust the angle. If I adjust the angle to the wick side, I'm missing out on a lot of the meat or even the wicks hitting this line here. So this is a problem for me. If I bring it down to account for the core, I'm still missing the wicks. I'm getting close, but I'm missing the wick, okay? So if I'm drawing the line from the top side of this block, and that block is here, that might be telling me, hey, this daily chart, I need to bring it down. I need to bring it to the lower side or closer to, sorry, not the block, but my line itself. Did you see what I did? Okay, I'm slowing it down so you guys can just have an easier way to draw more very accurate trend lines. If I start this trend line on the top side, I do not have a good result with these 3 areas. And therefore, how am I going to read where the support really is or where the sword cut really is? Let's try this now again, but this time we're going to start our starting location for this trend line about where the meat is. Now we found that one on the weekly chart, so this is basically what it looks like. It's at the core of the weekly chart, okay? See that where it starts at? I'm gonna take a screenshot so you guys can jog your memory a little bit later. Weekly chart. for this crypto. Now, if I place it here, now let's go back down to the daily chart. Now let's see if I can collect all those regions, all those areas. How many can I collect? Where do they all meet together? They meet there. Why there? Why not at the wick? Again, if we do it at the wick, I'm not touching the candles in between this little section. I'm getting close, but I'm missing it. The highest wick is here. The meat is down here. However, if I bring this down to the core, which is right here in this area, I have now collected the wick side here. See that? Does that make sense? Okay, so I did this. Nice. So now I found a way by which I can collect all three. Now let's verify it and see how, if it's more correct or if we need to adjust any more. That's one way we can do if all we had was the top side and we had if that's all we wanted to measure. But there's another way that's a lot easier, and I used to teach this only in my first session, my first year teaching sword method. Does anybody know another way we could go about verifying this key angle? Okay, for our live session, let's do it together. Anybody know another way we might be able to verify? What is the answer? Anybody know the answer? If I wanted to say, hey, can I trust this angle so I can use it to really read what's happening? And I did core cluster, or if I didn't do core cluster, and I think this is the right angle, what's the other way I can verify that's correct? Good job. Who's iPad? Somebody's name is iPad. Okay, did it right. What was the answer? Somebody did it? You want to unmute? Anybody? The line came up for just a second. I don't know who it was.
Is that a flat?
It was no, it wouldn't be flat. Firecracker?
Duplicate. And to the bottom.
Duplicate it and bring it to the bottom. And what principle is that? That's called phantom. It's a ghost angle. We drew the angle from left to this side to that side. We think we have the right angle. What can we do? We can bring it down to the lower energy centers in the area. And we already know the top energy centers are these three. Okay, 1, 2, 3. The lower energy center is this one here and this one here. Now, without drawing the angle from those two places, I can duplicate this angle here and bring it down to those lower places. And now I can see what? What are we looking at here? Verification. We have drawn it here and the line itself touched here. I didn't draw the line from here to here. Remember that. We drew the meat and it testified here saying when price came down, that was the support. If all I had was these two areas, or these three areas, 1, 2, 3, I already know the bottom is here. So if I'm looking for price to reverse, I might be looking for price to reverse when it's close to the support, which is in this case a phantom angle. The reason I call it a phantom is because it's a ghost of the original angle. We have to have the key correctly, but once we have the key, it unlocks most of the rest of that segment or the oscillation in between, which is price moving back and forth between that channel. I know now the top should be here. I also know if price is building above that area, it's also telling me a very important piece of information. You're saying, I'm not concerned with the past. You should be, because that's the whole purpose of technical analysis. So therefore, did we have a verification? We sure did. At the meat, the core. This is an example of verification at using a correct key angle. Let's put a little call out just for your information. Remember, we did not draw this angle. We drew the key angle. This is a testament, this price reacting strongly on the support of this phantom is a testimony of the key angle. This is called phantom angle, PA. Now this is all baby stuff because this is all in our new, but we're going to focus a lot on core principles to make sure that everyone's trained over and over, because these are the things we use day in, day out when reading a map. Now, I didn't know what crypto we were going to look at today. I knew it was in the list here. Okay. But I didn't pull it up. I don't do that often on purpose so that we can, when we're building together, you are empowered to understand what you're looking at, and we do them together. So verification tells me that I can trust my key angle a lot more. And if my key angle, if price breaks this angle up here, this is my key angle, If price breaks that angle, it tells me something. It tells me there's a reason for it. It's powerful. So right now, if this is all we had, what assumptions can we make about price at the moment? If this is all we had, what might we be inclined to say? What can we learn from looking at this right now?
That crypto is building strength upon that line, upon the key angle, and that volume probably rose enough for that to happen. Professional buyers, I would assume.
Yep, pretty close. Anyone else?
Health.
Health. There's health in this crypto. It's building some strength. Now, if we look at it closely, is it really building upon the angle? Not yet. Which means if price were to fall, we could fall potentially to here and still be looking healthy. It would just look like a bounce around. They call that a dead cat bounce in many technical analysis terms. We could still be looking for price to do something like that just because of this. Now, what are some ways we can denote this if we wanted to do notes without drawing arrows like me? Is there another way we can do it? There's a couple ways. If we wanted to say and remind ourselves that we're still looking healthy in this territory, how could we do it? There's a couple ways. Anybody?
Is that with the circles?
We could use circles. That's one of the ways we can use. We can turn circles on, and then I want to put which color do I want to use? I want to use green on top of a line. I want to use red underneath the line. If I was here, I would have put a red circle in this area to denote the border. To denote to myself that I should be looking bearish when we hit this. Now we hit it and came down just for a few days and then immediately came back up and broke. So this tells me everything I need to know, because the secret that we teach in lesson number 1 is what price does do at a trend line and what price does not do at a trend line is just as important. In this case, because we didn't reject back down underneath our last watch line, which would have been somewhere here along this track, but we rather broke to the top side, it's telling us there's health in this crypto. In sword method, we often put these just back to back like this, so we know where to make decisions at. We know where price is making decisions at. I know that if price comes underneath this trend line down here, that's going into the basement. We're probably going to be even more weak. And I know that if we're going to get a bounce, it should be along that path. But that's one of the ways we can denote that. What's another way we can denote importance to us for an area where we want to draw our attention to? And this is important because there's so many lines that we end up drawing that we can get overwhelmed. So my goal has been to try to simplify a method for our eyes to observe and understand. What's another way we can denote that there's health? There's a couple ways. Really simple stuff here. Anybody?
Was there any mention of what's called a mid-phantom?
Okay. We can do mid-phantom. Mid-phantom's gonna be a tool to help us draw the middle and find step-ups. That's gonna be helping find resistances maybe along the way or even intra. Okay, but we're not there yet. We're just wanting to find ways. How can we remind ourselves that there's health besides circles? I like circles, but that's me. Anyone else? There's a couple answers we might want to do. All right, I'll give you the answers. The answers are, number 1, we can use highlighters. You see me do that all the time. Click on your highlighter and just highlight those lines. If I'm looking for health, I might want to draw a green line and then put it that, and then adjust that angle just above into about today's date and go straight down, and then you can put a highlighter there. If I'm looking for weakness, I can maybe duplicate that highlighter and put a red one, if that was. Now this is an area I'm not really looking for weakness, but that might be a way you can do that. Okay, highlighter. Another one you can use is the price labels. You can actually draw right on your price label. Did you know that? I'm going to go to my settings for my price label. Just click on your price label. Your little toolbar will come up. Click on your setting. On the style, I can change the line to white. I can change the label border to white. I can text and type in there. I'm looking for, or I can say price is in health in this area. And they can make that text white. Okay? Price is in health in this area at the breakout. There it is, after the breakout and above this area. That's one of the things you can do. Okay, price label. You can do call out. Call out is found in annotation under your tools. Call out. And then just put something. This is a healthy territory for price. Okay, this is basic things, but when you're looking at a chart and you're like, oh, what was I thinking about? Because you have too many charts or whatever it is, you now have ways to give yourself that notation of letting you know where you're going. And then finally, you can also use these type of arrows. Some of the arrows that you can use, I don't use this one often, is called, give you a couple ways here, curve. If I click on my curve tool, the same tool that we use for parabolic, and I draw that curve, let's say I'm drawing the curve, I can adjust the style of the curve to a solid line, and then I can open up, and here on this side, I can make it the line dashed. Again, if I wanted to, I can make the line really thick or thin. We'll make it real thick. And then at the end, I can click on normal or arrow. So if I wanted, I can do arrow. I can draw arrows like that, and I can bend the arrow to how I think. So if I'm bullish, I can do that, and then I can change the color if I wanted, maybe something like green if I wanted to, if I'm looking to be healthy. Okay. Now, generally, I try to reserve colors and arrows for things I'm very confident in. Okay. But I haven't done all the full map, so I'm not drawing arrows just yet. But I'm just showing you different ways to add annotations. Okay. If we're looking for price to do a certain thing at a certain area, you can start drawing, using some of these drawing tools to denote some of the options that you're considering. Okay. So those are all different things you can do. All right. So sound good? Most of you guys, I want to skip some of these basics so that you guys are empowered, not feel overwhelmed with your charts. My job is to make it simple for you guys to understand whatever it is you're looking at. You guys want me to look at AIO? I never seen this one before, but we already performed a key angle analysis on here. Okay, now at a glance, if we wanted to see how high price is going, we can do a few things. If we're in the category of projecting how high my price might go, how might we do this? I want to see if I'm bullish. Now, again, we haven't did the whole map, but if this was all we had, there's a couple ways we can go about seeing how high price goes and then seeing how far price may go. So let's hear some thoughts from you guys. There's a lot of answers we can accept. We can do DP projection. DP projection is where we just measure the distance between the key angle and the phantom. Okay, if that was my measuring line, it doesn't matter if it's this angle or this angle, doesn't matter. Don't get caught up in that. Move it straight up in the air. Okay, I didn't draw the angle right. You're just doing the distance between these two lines. Okay, because what I can do now is duplicate the phantom or key angle again, but now I'm going to label this DP. Okay, and I'm just going to make it dotted or dash, and then I'm going to bring it to these areas. Did I measure that one right? It should be correct. Yep. And then I just bring it up. So it doesn't matter what angle you do when you're just measuring it. Okay. The only time that for key angles, it doesn't matter. So now what I'm going to do is I can go to today's date. I can bring this down all the way to today's date. And I know that I might be looking to find price hitting $3.32 minus. Does anybody know why I say the word minus? 332 minus. Anybody? 32.
Because the line is dynamic.
Yep. Because the line is dynamic. It's moving. It's going down over time. Meaning, if price were to go up today, or the daily chart, I know that today price can hit here. But if price waits until here's October 10th, then that number is going to be only here. If price waits till November 2nd, the price is only here. Price will go down as time goes on. Here's 274, and here is this price, 216. Big difference, almost $1, over $1, just because of time. So if all price did was just go to the side, I need to know that in this instance, price is actually going down against me. So sometimes this is why certain moves happen at certain times, because there's a better deal. It's sometimes cheaper for price to be manipulated. Sometimes it's more advantageous for price to move at certain times because there's some more profits on the table. But for the most part, for the big players who are always buying low and selling high, they often play the long game, just so you know. So depending on time, we're going to put, what's today's date? I'll just put these as examples for you guys to remember. September 23rd, 2024. October 10th, 2024. November 3rd, 2024. Just to help you guys remember that you're looking at price, it's dynamic. It's not just one price. And this is why we do not trade on price alone. We never just trade on price alone. I don't care about the price. The prices change all the time depending on the day. I just want to know what the angle is so I can calculate whatever price I'm supposed to be looking for support or resistance or whatever it is. Okay. So that's how one way we can do that. Okay. So I don't care about these prices for the most part, but I put them up for you guys. What's another way we can put this out without having to put a label on? We can just set an alarm for the price. I know that price is gonna, as long as it goes up past today, it's gonna trigger that line. It's gonna hit it. If I have this so far down here, I can go up and without hitting that line. So you want to make sure that you have it at least till today or even farther in the past. But for the most part, you don't need it in the past because that's price won't move backwards. It only moves up and forward or down and forward or straight and forward, always forward. So if I have this line up here today, I can set alarm on that line by clicking on my line and then hitting this alarm clock button. I can say price IO.net hit DP projection. Consider taking profit. And then I'll have to look at the map and maybe take some profit. Okay, there may be some money on the table, but we can also calculate how much money might be on the table if we were to click on our measure tool. If I go to today's date, I can say there's 50% on the table if it hits today, but all the way in October 25th, then it's only 2% if price just only went to the side. Now it's very rare for price just to drift straight to the side, okay, and hit a DP projection like that. It's rare. But if there's enough buying momentum then in there looking at RSI, looking at the volume, we can see if price is gonna experience a stronger markup. Okay. So that was one way we can use to hit the DP projection. Okay. What's another way? Oh, by the way, if I was in this crypto and I had a projection coming down, I may want to lower my buy order every week or every few days, the take profit level along with that angle. Okay. Now, what's another way we can figure out about how high price might go? Oh, this is good coffee. Delicious. What's another way we could figure out how high price might go if price is going to go higher?
High level core. Little core cluster.
We can do core cluster. We can do core clusters as flats, but what do we need to do if we're checking for flats? If we're going to be drawing flats, what do we need to do to draw flats? Or what should we primarily be doing if we're drawing flats? The answer is flats analysis. If we're doing flats and we're saying, okay, I'm going to just draw flats, we need to make sure flats are working and flats are active. Okay. If flats are not active, then we shouldn't really be drawing flats. In this case, flats may be active. We hit a core here, then we had a quick challenge here. Here at the top side, flats are not active. Here at the bottom side, flats are maybe a little bit active. They just hit this as resistance twice, and then we came right up and came down. Here at the bottom, at the core here on this daily chart, we're going below this area, so I don't really think this is active. And on the wick side, it's not active. On first glance, I would say it's probably not active, but you can perform that analysis to see. But yeah, that's one way.
And then what happens with the high level core? Is not existent?
No, high level cores, we need to go to high levels like monthly chart, weekly chart, and then it's basically in the family of core cluster. Okay, it's very related to them. I did those in the flats analysis. Here would be a high level core structure at a high level, flats. So if we drew this one as not that one. In this example, when we're looking at a 2-week chart, we can see that there's a flat at that core cluster level. It's exactly where it is. But that would be a high level core. So we might be looking for a top there. And yeah, you could do that if you wanted to. If I wanted to borrow this one core cluster here, I would. But for the sake of teaching, I'm not going to borrow it. I'm just going to line it up and adjust the colors to be a flat. All right, so that's one way we can find a top. What's another way we can use to find a top? Let's go back to that daily chart. HLC, high level core. What's another way we can find a top here? So a couple more ways. Now I did the DP projection on this oscillation. Did I miss anything?
Maybe doing the wick side?
Maybe doing the wick side? I don't think so. Because if I bring this down to the lower wick side, I'm missing out on this area here. So I would say it's probably not the wick side. There was something I did miss as far as knowing where our next top is. Okay?
iPad said targeting.
Oh, good job. Who's iPad? Who is iPad? Change your name. I know who you are. So I can give you credit. Okay? The answer, yes, we could do targeting system. That's great. Targeting system's a great one. How do we do targeting system? What we do is whoever iPad is, did good. I don't know who iPad is. Is that Pat? Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to believe you anymore. I'm going to say it was iPad. The mysterious iPad. He came, he gone. We saw him. He was amazing. May he rest in peace. We're going to just kidding. We're going to do our fixed range volume profile. When we're doing fixed range volume profile, we'll take our measuring tool from the high to the low, but in this case we hit the low twice, so we're going to bring it down here, and I'm going to measure from here to here. To do that, we're going to go to our tool, our toolbar. I'm going to go to, if you haven't added, it's going to be under forecast and measurement, the last one, the second to the last, fixed range volume profile. Hold it down, add it to your favorites. This is targeting system. So let's do this. We're going to bring it to the top, bring it to the bottom, and now we measured this. To measure this, what we're going to do, I'm going to zoom in on this. We're going to find the highest areas in the area. In this case, there's 4 of them. And then we are going to target the very low volume areas, the easy money areas. Number 1 here. Let's make it our teal color. Number 2 here. Number 3 here. This is going to be our easy targets in between our 2 largest volume peaks. These are the easy money areas. Then we're going to add our swing targets, which is going to be support between the largest areas about halfway. So in this case, I'm just going to draw a rectangle in pink approximately halfway between here, this peak, and this one. And this is going to be a swing target. Sometimes you just get one flat one, and other times you can get a few small ones. For this next one, it's halfway between here and here. That's going to be about right there. So I'm going to bring a swing target there, approximately. And then the last one, between here and here, we're about right there. So on the lower side of these. So now I have a kind of a cluster or area by which I'm looking for prices to reverse. A little bit higher? Yeah, maybe it needs to be a little bit higher. Yeah. Okay, so now I have these targets. So now I have my targets. Now, if price is coming from the bottom up, I'm going to be looking for it to hit or reject these areas systematically. In the first session, we're already well above these areas, so they could act like supports, which is very interesting because I believe they are. Okay. Now, fixed range volume profile talks about the volume, the money that's moving in at certain areas of price. When price hits certain areas, it marks those volume levels that was happening as price was in those areas. So is it any wonder why price seems to act like it builds support or resistance at those areas? Because it's overcame a big deal. Here in this example, we can see price actually built on top of these areas, and the meat is just right there, and it's dipping down into there, yet it's finding support. So all those people who are exiting, price is finding support right at those areas. Those people who are still buying, they're going to be buying there. The people who are selling, the people who are buying from the sellers at those prices. They believe that's a good deal for them. So this is acting a little bit like a support. Next, here's our swing target. Let's bring these out. We don't need long lines because then people look at our charts and people are like, what are those lines? I don't know. It looks confusing. But if you put them at today's date, you know that they're a future line. Okay. And finally, let's bring these last ones up. Now, again, I haven't written price on any of these, right? I don't really care. If you're throwing your angle off, click the middle dot and just bring it straight across, okay? I don't really care about the price. I can always find the price later. All right, there we go. To be nice to you, I'll just put some price labels in those general areas so you know. I like this price note because then I can move price label out the way. Now, you tell me, my friends, quiz, of the prices that we're looking at, which one is more attractive at the moment? Okay, which one is more attractive? Is it A, $4.47, or or B, $3.07? Which one is it? If we're looking for price to reject,
A.
Is it A up here? Okay, we got one for A. What about for B? Do we have any for B? A is attractive because it's much higher. Which one is most likely for, maybe I need to rephrase it, just to make sure you guys are getting really what I'm trying to get at. Which one is most attractive to price for the purposes of decision making? Which one's going to be the stronger of the two? They both have a swing target, and they both have the normal target system. A or B? Put it in the chat, unmute your microphone, do whatever you want. Lamont, what do you think?
I would probably go in between and do $4.
Okay, so we got two for $4.
I'm changing B.
You're changing to B, okay. Now, I didn't ask why, I just wanted you guys' votes. If we're going to be looking at this crypto, Which one are we going to say price has a chance to get to or not get to? Which one may it reject at? It may reject at both, but there was a few clues that we did. I want to see who caught them. Which one should we really be paying attention to? Should I really be paying attention to this one? Should I really be paying attention to this one? Which one is it? A pair 4, or B 3? Okay. Anyone else? Nobody else want to vote? A big crowd. Can't all be driving. A, think hard. B, which one is it? I believe I know which primarily should be our focus. I just want to know if you guys know it. Let me put back on that target system. Who said B?
Can you repeat the question?
Which one is price most likely to respond to as far as being attractive to price? Let's see if you guys know it. All the clues are on the board.
I guess a safe one is B.
Okay, B could be a safe one. Pat O says B, Lisa says B. All right, so we have a few for B's and a few for A's. Okay, 10 more seconds. Okay. Now let me ask you a question. Why would it be A and why would it be B? Let's have anyone who stands for A tell me why price would probably respond more to A rather than B. Why should A be our primary focus? What's your case? I don't know everything. I just want to know.
I can tell you why I originally said A.
Okay. So you changed your vote to B.
I did.
Okay. Tell us why you believe B is the area.
Because of the DP projection. And you have the swing target as well as the other target in addition to that DP projection. All three combined makes it a nicer area to come to.
Both of these have a DP and target, a swing. See, this one has 1 and 2. This one has 1 and 2.
But the B has the phantom or projection angle.
The projection. See, there's a vortex here. What she says, I'm going to tell you what she said was correct. There's something else too. I want to see if anyone catches it. But this is where the DP projection intercepts with the swing targets. So this would be called a vortex. Where they meet together, they meet in this range. So somewhere between September 20th, which is today, and somewhere between October 24th, these targets are hitting. That's not always the case because they go on into the future. It just so happens they happen to intercept during these times and seasons. When we see strong vortexes, we see sometimes price reverse out of the blue, even if it doesn't get all the way up into that crevice. If price gets to that crevice, usually it reverses. Also, at vortexes, if price is coming down, then usually price reverses up. For some reason, vortexes suck things into them, and sometimes when price is right at them, they just push it down. But this is a phenomenon we're still investigating. But as it is, yes, there is a vortex there. So this would make it more so that we'd actually be looking for prices to respond stronger in areas where there's multiple, as other technical analysis teachers would say, convergence or confluence. Okay, they might tell you there's a confluence of events that are happening here. And yes, they're right. This is a vortex. In this case, B is stronger because of the vortex, which is a interception of other events / angles. Okay, it's the whole, it's like the central point of all this event, and that's why I call it a vortex. Because to me, I don't just call it a confluence of events. I think that's a little too vague. I think if we look at it in terms of a black hole or something, the centralization of all of that. Does that make sense? Okay. There's another reason B is stronger. Did anybody catch it? It's so good. I'm doing this as a class. Okay. There's another reason B is stronger. Anybody know it? It's almost the same reason why there's support.
Would it be as simple as saying it's the easiest one for it to get to because it's the lowest number?
Yeah, that might be. But I wasn't going to go there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's another reason.
What about the key angle could become the phantom angle, and it's like equal amount of space for that to happen, and that would be the next.
Well, that'd be part of the DP projection.
That's what I thought.
And that would be part of that vortex, which is a good enough reason on its own. But there's another reason why the $3 would be a stronger target. There's another reason. It's on the screen if you guys are knowing what to look for. Okay.
It would be a third point of a flat.
No, it's not the flats analysis. Let's see if anybody can get it. I'm going to give you about 15 more seconds. See if anybody gets it. After I tell you the answer, you're going to all go do this. Facepalm yourself. Because I'll make it obvious for you. Oh, this coffee's so good. Praise the Lord.
Have you taught us this before?
Yeah. So good, make you want to slap your mama. So good. Coffee. Sorry, I really like this coffee. Don't slap your mama, but it's so good it makes you want to slap your good mama.
It must be real good.
Oh, gosh.
Can you give us a hint on the
Okay,
answer?
the hint is here in this area.
I missed it. What area? That little line you drew?
No. Okay, 5 more
Or you
seconds.
just said the hint is in that
The
area?
hint is in this area. Come on, it's a big hint. Big.
Oh.
Like I'll make it even easier, okay? Basically giving you the answer now. Here, I'll make it even easier. I'm gonna hide the. Hold on. Drawing. Oh wait, I can't do that. Can't make it that easy. I wish I could. Now do you see the answer? Anybody? Do you see the answer? No? Nobody? I gotta be a better teacher. Okay, the answer. Ready? Here's the answer. Look at the volume. This is massive volume between here and here. So the targets between here and here should be strong. Look at the volume between here and here. So the targets in here should be strong, although it's less strong as these ones. Remember, we drew it based on these areas. Here's our swings, our swing targets, our normal targets. Now look at this volume between here and here, between this point and this point. Of these areas, which is stronger, which has the most money and volume in there? It is these two. Here. This is a baby one, and this could continue out, and that one would even be weaker if this was coming to continue down than this. Now we see this all the time, okay? We see this all the time. But as it is, these numbers we're going to pay attention to. I'm going to pay attention to this one more than I pay attention to this one. I'm going to pay attention to this one more than I pay attention to this one. And I'll pay attention to this one more than I pay attention to this one. Does that make sense? So when I come back to these areas, there's a lot of more money in here that can either affect or change price. It's a very big swing too. And so I'm going to be looking more towards B because of that as well. And I'm going to type that in. And because there is more volume at this area. Now what is volume? It's activity. Okay. If price is going to make a decision, I'm going to be more focused on areas that have a lot more money. Just like we can make a decision right now and seeing price is building above these areas. This is a very big target here. Swing, and it's our target. And we're seeing price building on this area. It's very likely that's where we're going to be looking for some kind of decision. In this case, we'd be looking for a healthy decision because price is on top. Primarily, if we're going to cast our bet anywhere, it's going to be there. Okay. So I'm going to take that screenshot just to highlight this principle. Okay, sound good so far? Make sense? Did anybody slap their face?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I'm pointing out, you have tools on your screen. You can use them live, and we will. Okay. Now, so say I'm like, okay, so I'm happy about that target, but I'm not happy about the trade. I'm not so sure price is going to go up at the moment. What other things that we can add to our map to help us be more confident, either negative or positive, because we don't want to be biased and just say, I'm biased, I'm going to be bullish because Jay Sung sounds confident about it. That's not good enough reason. That's a prophetic coin, so I know it's going to do well in the future. That's not good enough, because it could do really well in 3 or 4 more years. People have been saying that about wealth transfer for many years now, right? Okay. I want to stack the odds in my favor. I want to know how to do that. What things now can we add to our map to give us a better reason? We're doing this as a class today.
Sword cut.
Sword cut. Fantastic. Where do we draw our sword cut? Somebody encircle the area where we draw our sword cut. Draw a flat line in the area where we draw it. Do it for us. Good job, Lisa. Okay, she drew it here, right at the break. So in that range where there's a break, that's where our sword cut needs to be. So we can draw this approximately here. If we were going to draw it any direction, we can square it out, okay, if we wanted to, so we know approximately how far to draw it. We can take the area that determined the sword cut, in this case it's about here, square that out by just duplicating that, and we know approximately how far we may want to stretch our sword cut out, as a general rule, getting in the ballpark, okay. So now we have a sword cut. Is this sword cut hit? Is it hot, or is it used? Is it hot? Is it mid? Is it used and abused? How powerful is the sword cut right now to me?
It looks like it was hit where it spiked down.
Yeah, that's right. It spiked down here. So we may not type the word hot. Okay. If I had it as a real intense color, I might want to just fade it away just a little bit.
The numbers on the thing, man.
Okay. So let's put some price in here just for you guys. 180 to 175 area. We can type an SC at so I know where the shortcut is at. And let's put this on the right side. Okay, now, what else can I do? I can be looking for price to build on here. It's already starting to round a little bit, right? What else can I do for IO.net to find out, or whatever crypto this could be, about how confident I could be for this crypto? There's a couple things we can do just to do it. And then let's do about 2 more, and then we'll move on to another crypto as part of a group session.
Go to a smaller time frame and then see if it's broken above that last angle. Draw an angle like a watch line and see if it broke above it.
We can do a watch line if we're looking for an entry. Primarily, we want to use watch lines if we're looking for an entry. I'm not so confident yet that I want to buy this crypto. So let's slow down a little bit. But yeah, that would be great. If we're looking to pull the trigger, we could go to maybe for time sync, we game to an hourly chart, and I would be looking for structures and to draw a watch line. I might want to do an analysis and draw where the next health would be if I was waiting for a breakout, or draw some next trigger lines to enter or exit. That could be fun. But right now, I'm not even so confident I want to get in this. How do I find out if we're really going up or down, or if this isn't just going to be maybe a parabolic to the way down? Because if we come down, then I'd be like wanting to collect all 4 points, and then I would know my next health is up here. I want to know, how can I be confident that we are going up? What things? We can look at the volume. Good. I was hoping somebody would get that answer. Okay, so let's look at the volume. Turn off those arrows. Okay. We can look at the volume. One of the ways we can do is look at the volume. Let's side that for right now. We're going to get back to that one. What is the volume telling me? First, we need to ask ourselves a couple questions. What kind of questions should we ask ourselves going into this, looking at the volume? Okay. What type of questions should we be looking at asking ourselves? There's maybe one really important thing we always have to ask ourselves about volume. Okay. Anybody?
Are they selling right now that it's going up?
Sure. Are they selling? That's a good one. There's another question we could ask. If we see major selling, we may not want to get in right now because they may be in a distribution phase, dumping it. There's another question. There's a couple questions we might want to think about. Making you think, huh? Taking away, I'm breaking the gambling element from you. Teaching you to read. You look at this like you're investigators or doctors. You can stack the odds in your favor whenever you're breaking down or analyzing whatever it is you're doing. I'm proud of you guys. Let's see if you guys know the right questions. One of them
Are they buying?
Are they buying? Okay, that's a great question. Are they buying? Are they buying? Okay. There's a better question that's in the same ballpark as both of those. Anybody can think of them? After I tell you the answer, you're going to facepalm yourself. I want to hear slaps if you guys don't figure it out. I believe you. Oh, gosh, I should have seen that. That's my impression of you. Okay. Lisa asked, are they buying or are they selling? There's a better question to ask. So I don't really care what they're doing right now as much as I care about something else. Okay? 10 more seconds. Think, my friends. Think hard. You're going to be millionaires and billionaires. You gotta know this stuff better because you're going to have your Uncle Joe and all these people telling you all this stuff. Pat O's circling. He's in the ballpark. He's in the answers. There's a better question to ask ourselves.
How much more money is coming in right now?
I don't really care so much what's happening right now as much as I care about something else. And after I tell you, you're going to all facepalm yourself.
I think we're face-bombing ourselves already.
Right. The question is, and I'm going to type it on the screen. Okay, let's see if I can phrase it. Have the professionals or professional money, that's financial institutions, have let's call it the smart money. Have the smart money, I think here's a better way to phrase it. What has the smart money already done? Okay. What I'm saying by that is, did the smart money buy? Because we're in a breakout. And I want to know, are the big players in it or are they just dumping it? Or they're not in it at all? Because I don't care what's happening right now as much as I care is what they already did. If the smart money has already been selling, and they have been selling, not what they're going to do or what they're doing today, I want to know if they're already dumping it on me, because then I could be a lemming. I also want to know if the smart money is behind it, because if the smart money hasn't been buying, I don't care if that we're in a breakout, because they can manipulate it up into a breakout. If the smart money is not already in this, then I'm buying basically with the retail traders, and I'm going to get whipsawed or wicked more often than normal. But if I can isolate what the smart money already did, okay? What has the smart money already done? What did they already did? In other words, that's a good one. What did they already did? Okay? What has the smart money already done? Did they buy? Are they in this? Are they out? This is the question that's more important than what's going on right now. Because I can look at this volume and I can say, it looks great, but if the big players are not in this, then it's when I was a youth pastor, back when I was, my very first time being a youth pastor, I made the calls. I was terrified. I said, hey, do you want to come to the youth event? To all these teens, and I'm a 14-year-old boy, and I'm calling up teens who are 18, 19, the young adults even, and I'm invited into the party, and they're like, is Joe going to be there? And then I was like, yeah, Joe's going to be there. And then Joe calls up, and he's like, Susie going to be there? And I'm like, yeah, she's going to be there. And he's okay, but I'll be there. And I'm bluffing my way in a way, or walking in faith, I don't know what you call it. In that case, yeah, they're going to be there. And they were there. But they were only there because the players were there.
You're underwater.
Oh, am I underwater? Gosh. Okay. All right, hold on. Okay, testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Check 1 2. Testing, can you guys hear me okay? Yeah? No?
Yes.
Okay, I changed to a backup microphone. So when I
want to comment on the circulating supply is only 15%. So only 15% of the total supply is circulating. It's probably likely to take a nosedive one day.
Sure, I haven't studied all about how it relates to circulating supply. So I couldn't say anything about that. But thank you. So when I'm making these calls, the people are concerned with what the popular kids are doing, what the big boys are doing. Now, this is a simple principle for us to remember one of those mnemonics, to know what is happening with volume. When we're talking about putting down our hard-earned money, we want to make sure that the major players are still in this, because there's certain big cryptos that we saw that the big players are not participating at the moment. And so it's hard for them to sustain even when they're in position or have a breakout or even sitting on top of a sword cut or broken out. When we looked at certain cryptos that were really popular, we can see, wait a minute, the big players are not really in this by and far. So we want to see, did they ever enter? Did they buy? We want to say, are they in this? We want to see if they're still in it, or did they slowly get out, or did they have a massive dump? So let's do that. Does that make sense? Okay, does that make sense? Sounds reasonable, right? To make sure. Now, can we see their activity? Yes, we can. Let's look. Okay, so let's break this down just a little bit. This was a launch coin, ultra high volume bars here at the top. Then we come right back down in the same season on ultra high volume with a drop off here. Selling from professionals has to happen on ultra high up bars or the up moves with very high volume. And here in this case, we see ultra high up bars, part of that launch, and then immediately the fall off. So this could be in the start of the dump. So we want to make sure that they're in this crypto before we start committing. We start coming down, that's more confirmation that was selling. We read this in hindsight, but over time we can read what they were doing, and that's where we can know where to look. Now we come down here, and as we start coming down, we see an increase in volume. So we're starting to come down, and then we see the activity increase on the downsides, on the down bars, immediately followed by an up move, another down bar, and on those down bars, we're still seeing ultra high volume. This means some people are starting to participate. Maybe the big players. It's followed by an up move. Okay. At the top here, did we see a major dump? Once we got to the top, did we see them dump out here in these areas? Here's the volume that's related. Yes or no? What was it? Did they get out? Did the big players get in? Did they get out? It looks like they're starting to get in here at these ranges. Did they get out here? Yes or no? Who thinks yes? Who thinks no? You got to know this. You got to learn it. You're going to have billions of dollars on the line. You're going to run it like a business. A well-oiled machine. Pat says no. We got one for no. I would say Pat's correct. Where's the activity? I don't see them dumping. I can see them dumping back there in these areas. But where's the big dump? I don't see it. Okay, so where are the professionals? Somebody answer at a glance, where are the professionals? Are they in or are they out? I'm helping you think. Think this through. You know this on one crypto, you know it on every crypto. In or out? Put it in the chat. We've got a big crowd live. I need your participation. We're here to learn today. I guess this is a tutorial. Come on, you guys are doing great. Can you hear me? Lydia says in. Lydia says in. That's good. The answer is, Lydia is right. They're still in. They didn't get out, they're in. So just keep that in mind. Remember the question. What has the smart money already done? Did they buy? Are they in this or are they out? What are they in? So right now they're still in. All right, let's go to the next event. Here's the next energy center. What is happening here? Somebody explain it. We got these ultra high volume up bars here in this area. What is happening here? Somebody tell me. Anybody? This is the next event. Anybody want to unmute your microphone? Explain. Nobody? Explain yourself? Nobody? Okay. Smart money did not exit here. Okay. All right, let's explain it. We have ultra high volume bars, correct? What else? We have a down move. Do we have an increase in volume? Yes. What about the closes? What do we notice about these closes, my friends? What do we notice about these closes? Anybody? What do we know about these closes? Somebody point it out. You guys are going to be trained really well. You're going to know this in and out. What do we notice about these closes? Nobody? Where's all my class participation? I'm going to have to start throwing out some gold coins and points to do for the Bible quizzes. Okay, what we notice...
Accumulation?
It could be, but why do we think it's accumulation?
It looks like it's consolidating there.
That's one. It looks like it's consolidating, going right to the sides. That's a good thing. Okay, that could be consolidation in the candle pattern. What else do we notice about the candles? Look at the closes. Well, the closes are not really getting higher in this area.
Flat?
That's part of that consolidation. I want you to notice something. I'm going to point it out since nobody got it. We're going down. We have ultra high volume on the down bars with closes near the middle. Okay. Look at the close near the high or the middle. In a downtrend, when we have these closes near the middle, it means there was rejection. Price tried to come all the way down here, but could not close and hold. It sustained here. Tried to close here, but sustained here. Then when we come back down to that same area on a down bar or down moves, it's closed right near that same middle. The cores are all right here. That's a sign that there's rejection in these areas. Now, why would there be rejection in there? If we look at the volume, when we're talking about buying, professional buying has to happen where? And I'm going to bring this down to remember as a reminder to everybody. Professional buying has to happen where? Remember, on the down bars or buying. Nope. Professional buying has to happen on down bars and or down moves. Okay? Down bars or down moves. Professional selling has to happen on up bars / up moves and or up moves. Okay, so just remember that. This is important. If you guys don't believe me, watch Gavin Holmes, Tom Williams. They were syndicate traders, or his mentor was Tom Williams before he died. For many years, that's how the professionals, they would call themselves, the bankers would call them up, each other up. And they would target stocks, no matter whatever the news was. Especially if the news was really good, they would distribute it and pass it off to all their lemmings. If the news was really bad, they'd be secretly buying it. And they bought into the selling panic. And they sell into the buying frenzy. Okay? That's how they make the money. When you're a billionaire and millionaire, you're going to learn this right away. Because if you hit the enter button, you're going to drive up price against yourself and it's going to come right back. And you're going to be like, why did that happen? And you're going to see it happen all the time because you're buying in really bulk. You're buying against your own, they're raising the price against your own buying because they know that you're the only market order that's in. So professionals, they buy in small chunks over time. During the selling frenzy, they're buying. And we can see their activity. We can notice it because we don't just get this rejection, but we get a slight up move. Then we come back down and another up move. But look at the volume here, no supply. So we have no demand, which is where they bought all the supply in this area. No one's willing to sell it at these prices. The markup is able to continue. So we can group this now into another chunk. This was buying. So smart money entered here, and now we're going to put smart money also entered here. Today is going to be as a bonus class. Okay, smart money entered also here. Okay, so at a glance, to answer our questions, what has the smart money already done? Can somebody tell me what the professionals did? The bankers, the hedge funds, financial institutions, syndicates, you name it. What have they already done? Where are the professionals as of these days? Are they in or are they out? If this is all we had, they're in. If this is all we had, we can see that they're in. Now let's look at the next event. This one up here. Where's the ultra high volume? It's here on this bar. What kind of bar is that? Let's look at the date of that bar. It's here. This bar. Now notice, this is interesting. I'm going to make this green and make it solid. Look at this bar, has the ultra high volume, not these other two. That's interesting. It could tell us something, that either they were selling here, because it has to happen on an up bar, but look at the next two bars. They're actually an up move until we hit the resistance. This was the third point from these two, or the average of these two. So it could have been that we went down because of here. If this was really selling, why did we continue going up until we hit the resistance? This may not be the full selling that we want. If there is some selling, it may have happened in this range, which we can block it out and look for price to react in those areas. This is one technique we can use. I'm already telling you, we've already included this in the volume profile when we were making targets, our fixed range volume profile. Look. So now I'm breaking down the science of why we're doing what we're doing, okay? So if we see structures beyond these areas, we know that we're getting past the bulk of, if there was some selling or too much supply, we're building in new territory. So therefore we don't need to do this, but you've seen me in the past drop blocks in just high volume areas, and that's partially part and parcel why. So if they got up here, I'm going to type this in, okay, just for all your notes. Smart money may have exited here, but the next two bars are up moves on and at a resistance. It may be that smart money did not dump, okay? Maybe it's just a natural move. I would be looking for a very high volume up bars. Now you can say, well, we went down, but look where we went down to. We went down to the same places where they entered. Now we were here on ultra high volume, and then we get a no demand situation. Now we come back down to that area and look at the volume. Still no demand situation. So what has happened? They already drained the supply. There's no one willing to part with it at these levels. So the market's naturally going to find a balance and come back to these areas. And then we can use them to determine what happens next. So I don't see selling here. I don't see a massive dump here at the top. So what I'm going to say, we can make some conclusions about this now. Now we did all of our homework for this area. So let's finish up this last one. We have another no demand situation here. It appears all the major, or the majority, the bulk of it, major supply has been bought or / accumulated. I just use bought because I don't want to confuse you with accumulation. Accumulation is when we have an area where there's multiple areas of buying that's happened. Okay, so we had 3 events that happened. Let's answer our question. Okay, oh, there's one more we're going to do it today. So is smart money in or is smart money out? Let's say it. Now does everybody understand? For the professionals, professional money in or is professional money out? And did they get out? If there was any getting out, it may have been in this area. But when we finally got to the top, there was less supply. So I'm going to say it's probably not. That may have been part of this area here, where there's a lot of flood of supply. People who bought here at these areas, the retail market, who bought here, they lost some money. They just want to break even. So when it comes to this area, they're breaking even. So they're dumping. That could be explain a lot of the ultra high volume in that area, rather than just new lows where the professionals are buying. Okay, so that's part of that. Now, so I'm going to say they're still in. Now let's finish this up. 2 more things I'm going to show you. We need to look at the volume today. Now that I know the story, the professionals are in. Now that we're in a new high, I want to see, are the professionals dumping their holdings? I want to see what is happening today. What might be happening today? We got some ultra high volume bars, but we're going to the side. We're not having major down wicks or closes near the low on very high bars. Maybe that one. I'm not seeing any railroad tracks. I'm seeing price building on top of these old volume areas. I'm seeing all the wicks on the lower side. What might this mean when looking at volume? What's one of the things it might mean in this area? Anybody want to guess? I don't know for sure, but I'm leaning somewhere. Nobody? Make you think today, right? In this final area, we may assume that because we see consolidation or consolidated structure, candle structure, where it should be on top of old volume, heavy supply areas / targets on ultra high volume, that the retail market is coming in, or that this is a safer place to also enter cause to enter for smart money because the trend has been broken. I should say the verified trend is broken. So sometimes we will see professional money or the bulk of retail enter only after it's safe. And in this case, we can see that appears to be the case. Why are we having ultra high volume now? We're not at a major resistance. It's that, okay, now it's safe to enter in this area. Okay, so I'm going to take a screenshot of that so you guys have that. All right, I took too much of your time teaching you guys a crypto. I know you may not be concerned about this crypto at all, but what we can do is use this all as a teaching moment so you guys can use this as a case study. Now, there's one other thing I want to do. Since we're out of time, I'm just going to do the parabolic analysis. Okay, as a phantom, if I bring this down to the lowest energy center in this area, straight down at core, I'm still missing this other area. Okay, so I'm going to say this is probably not a major parabolic at the moment. Okay, but I'll leave it on. Now, the other thing I wanted you guys to catch, but nobody caught it, it was that we were going to look at the last event that happened. So instead of just DP here, we can also DP at the last event, which is here. Okay, if I take this oscillation and these three energy centers, 1, 2, 3, as a core, I have my own built-in verification right here. Okay, I'm going to draw this professional really quick. These are all the things that we can glean from this chart. Just break it apart. Okay, if I take this event, I get two angles along this track. Then I can duplicate that as if it was an owned key angle. We can do it at wick and we can do it at core. And I'm just going to put it as core for right now. That tells me I should be experiencing resistance approximately when I hit this area. Did I experience resistance in this area? Yes or no? You're welcome, Pat. Thank you so much for the comprehensive analysis. Yes, we did. Look at all this rejection. We hit it, we came down, we hit it, we came down. We're experiencing it today. Look, even today. Look at the number. Look at all this coming back down to here. So therefore, if I was going to use this as a smaller resistance, I can do that. Okay, this would be the phantom of this smaller key angle. If I wanted to label it, I can put KA. I'll put it in green just to mark it on the right side. Then I can put a phantom here, PA, put it in green, put it on the right side. PA, phantom, key angle. And I can also DP that if I wanted to, which means I can take the distance between here and here as a measuring line, bring it on top, don't matter the angle, duplicate, and I can get a DP here. If I wanted to, now I have two DPs. And they also testify to this vortex. So we may be seeing price even spike up to there or hit this vortex area here where all this congestion is. This is one way we can start creating a story. Because maps are all about creating a story that leads to events in the future. It also helps us understand what it is we were looking at. Now that I have all this, I'm still going to be very confident about this vortex. Okay? So now I can add to this. I added B is stronger because of the vortex, interception of other events, and because there's more volume activity in this area. The vortex of the red DP, the green DP, and the targets. Swing, pink, and green standard, or teal standard. All right. So I'm going to be more confident if I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy it here. I want to see, therefore, health appear after this event. Get me above there, then we're going to be square. We're going to talk about going up. I can calculate whatever price that is. It's $2.80. If I want to be even safer because of the parabolic, I can be looking at 220. Get me above 220, we'll make a run in a mad dash up to this area, most likely. Let's measure and see how much money's on the table in this area. There is 35% to 40% available. If we hit all the way to spike, if it happens quickly, it's up to 52%. But let's just put this in the average and say it's about 35%. Any questions regarding this crypto? I'm going to be looking to be bullish. We'll look on smaller time frames, or we want to look on smaller time frames to enter, but as it is, somewhere in this area might be safe. Sword cut might be support. I'm going to be bullish as it is. And I'm sure there's more we can do, but right now this is what we're looking at. All right.